Today we're going to build some projects with the prepackaged bundles from HewnElements.com. We've got a couple simple projects we can look at. I think we're going to go with a headboard today, and then with a small piece of material we're going to do a coat rack. For the headboard, it's going to be for a double-sized bed, so we're going to run a 60-inch headboard. We've got nails that we bought. They'll be available on our website. It's a pretty heavy wrought iron nail, and we'll use this for the coat hook. So I'm just looking at the material right now. These boxes are UPS shipped right to your house. Typically whitewashed barnwood like this, if it's old, it's got lead paint. This is completely non-toxic, it's reproduction, and it looks really good. So we'll start with the headboard, and then we'll use any remaining scraps. We'll pick a piece, and we'll build our coat rack. For this particular headboard, we're going to do 2 vertical posts and our cross section. With that, we've complicated the build just a little bit, but I'm going to show you how we can do this with simple tools. The equipment we're using, as usual, is very DIY type equipment. We've got a shop full of professional equipment, but we're going to keep this very simple. So right now, what I'm doing is cutting the 45s for the vertical. We're going to make a post. We're going to wrap it with 3 sides. We cut these with full-length boards so that we could pick the best section. We're only going to want about 5 feet out of this. Right about there is going to be our maximum height. Here are the verticals. So this is similar construction to our box beams that we sell on our website, but without a lock miter. So we're going to assemble this just like that. Just a little bit of glue. It doesn't need to be completely wet. You certainly don't want glue pushing out. It's a really clean seam. And that's the idea, is that we end up with our vertical side post right there. We're going to make another one for the other side. Now, we're going to do a step right here, and it's going to be a simple piece that we're going to nail to here, and we're going to put our cross pieces right into that. Scrap will work. Just 2 nail strips, totally square. We've got 13/16. We'll do 13/16. So we're just making a small square strip of wood. Perfect. Those strips will run right in here. And then when we put in our cross pieces, they're going to nail right into this. So we're going to set that to that. So these are 1x8. In the prepackaged bundles available on HewnElements.com, these boards net 7 1/4 inches wide. And because every board has its own character, I'm kind of selecting a bit of a pattern. The bed will probably come to about here. This section will sit above, and then I need to cut a radius into one of them. And then width-wise, we want 60 inches total. We've got 5 inches on each of our verticals. So we want 50 inches on our length, which runs us right there. So I'll cut all these to length, and then we'll cut our radius. So one of these is going to be the perfect pieces for our coat rack. This is the kind of scrap that I like. So we want a quick radius here. Let's get that drawn in. I'll draw one side, cut it, and then use that cut piece to trace the other. A little bit freehand. That's pretty good. set the same one over here. There we go. Just trim that a little bit. So for color touch-up, just a torch. Really simple. This makes for a really easy, rustic touch-up. Simple touch-up, we'll brush it a little bit, but it matches in well. So now we're gonna measure the height of our headboard, 42 inches. It's the same on both sides. So we'll cut these to 42 and then attach them to our vertical post. There we go. That's our nail strip. Okay, next thing we want to do is cut these guys to height. Perfect. We'll do 58 inches on our verticals. There's the bottom. It's pretty clean. I prefer marking with a blade. It's a scribe versus a pencil line. Scribe is cleaner, it's sharper. It also scores the grain a little bit. Helps the cut go a lot cleaner. Let me square this end. 58, right there. I like making these long so I could pick the best section. Perfect. There's our vertical. 4 inches down, we're gonna start our nailing. So, we'll set our nail strip. I'm gonna put a little glue under these guys. I think before I assemble this whole thing, I'm going to stiffen that up just a little bit. I'm going to put 2 blocks in there. Just because we haven't let the glue dry, I want to make sure that's not going to break on me. Just a little bit, stiffen that up. Now we start at the bottom. The first piece. I'm going to put the next one in just up here for spacing, just for a minute. Now I'm going to check it for square. We should be the same distance corner to corner, 83 inches. Yeah, and it's off, so I'm a ½ an inch off. We'll split the difference at 83 1/4, 83 1/4. Now we're square. Okay, now we just put our caps on the top. So let's cut those out. Okay, that's our cap. We'll just want to do a back bevel. We're just going to trim the back side here. Our 2 caps, they'll sit right up top. It's pretty simple stuff. It's neat how fast this goes together. This is maybe an hour-and-a-half project. We'll brush this after we get it all put together. Center them. This is it, pretty simple. We've got 10 boards in here. A box of barnwood comes with 8 boards. You could eliminate these bottom 2 boards and 1 box will cover this project. 2 boxes leaves you with material left over. We're gonna build a coat rack and I'll save it for another project. Here's a nice piece. This is 1 scrap piece, running 46 inches. We're gonna make the end look broken on each side, but this should be a perfect length to start with. Now we adjust. We want it to look broken. Touch it up with a little torch. I'm just shadowing the edge, running a little shadow in there just for fun. Just a quick tip on a jigsaw. Because the blade's kerf is directed towards the saw itself, it tears the wood pulling, but not pushing. So scribe your line on the back side of the wood and use that for your cut. See how it tears across the face of the wood? The bottom side's clean. So if you keep your face as the bottom as you're working, you can save your surface. If I make that same cut this direction, it starts tearing up the wood. And shadow it a little bit down the side. Okay. Now we'll lay out our nails somewhere in that range. Let's measure that out. We're going to call that center, and then we'll just space out from there and then find center this way, which should be just over 3.5. Cedar's a soft wood, and these have a nice big head on them, so I'm just going to start them, set them in their location. Something simple, fun. We can do this kind of stuff all day long. Anybody can do this with simple off-the-shelf tools. Go to hewenelements.com, prepackaged bundles, and check it out.